How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to ReWrite Plus, where things are totally going to be fine. Nothing terrible is about to happen. You know, we're walking along and suddenly Lucia just reappears after she'd been abducted by a strange cult. And that cult is like holding up in a bunker, planning something devious. And she's just out and about, you know? Nothing could possibly be preluding a terrible, terrible thing occurring. So yeah, that's great. Cool. I'm still looking forward to this, but I have a feeling it's going to get pretty dark pretty fast. And, you know, there's also the potential that things get too out of hand, that the United States might just decide, well, the Guardian branch in the United States might decide to unleash literal nukes on Kazamatsuri. So, cool. Yay. This is just fun. It's all good. All good. Nothing could possibly go wrong, right? Nothing could possibly go wrong. Also, just quick shout out. I've got a bit of a fun project. I decided to do a custom art for the channel that reflects ReWrite. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed myself a lot. I feel like we still have a lot of story to cover. And so when I had the opportunity, I was like, you know what? I feel like getting a little bit more art for the channel. We're getting something that's going to be ReWrite based. And so even when the series is over, I'll likely rotate it through occasionally just on the backs of other works, but keep an eye out for it. It'll be at the end of every one of these videos. Probably after this one, I think the artist said that they'll be ready by next week. I'm not rushing them, obviously. I don't really mind. Like, I just want them to do it at their own pace, because again, they're doing this like I fund them, but at the same time, you know, I'm not a priority. They have like their own lives to do too. They're kind of like me, where like they do this as a pseudo hobby. Like they want to do this full time and would love to get paid fully for it, but you know, we got to get to it. By the way, they've done lots of other works for on the channel. Starfield, the Knights of the Republic. I think the Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky. Like all of it's been done by the same artist, because we just have a good relationship where I like their work, they like the channel. We connected over like a shared interest of stories, and just ever since then, it's just had a good arrangement going. So yeah, you're probably going to see more and more artwork from it. I'm really happy to be able to support them. So yeah, just keep an eye out for it. Anyway, let's get right back to the nitty gritty of it all. Yeah, I think we're here to have a parfait. And I'm worried that Lucia is doing this as like a last, like, hey, I'm gonna go away forever, probably locked away in the cryopod. So this is like her, like, I'm gonna go say goodbye to Kotarou before that happens. And I'm like, that's scary. All right, let's go. It was pretty empty when I went with Chihaya and the others, but there's so many people now. The station was super packed too. It's like we're in a completely different city.
収穫祭になると、よく知ってるはずの街がまるで変わってしまうのが面白いな。
That's true. That weird feeling how things aren't quite the same. It's pretty exciting. The eve of the festival is already part of the festivities at this point. In other words, the Harvest Festival actually begins the day before the event itself. That's true. Like a big event, especially a local one, can start getting infectious. So where I grew up, there was a nearby area where somebody had done a startup company that had become really successful. Probably one of the more successful companies in the Western United States, like at least especially in that part of the country. So had a lot of money to sling around, and he decided to invest in certain things around our hometown, one of them being the 4th of July festival. So like he personally would sponsor like this massive fireworks show every 4th of July, and it makes a bit of an event in that area every year. And so it always was exciting to go to that city and to go and watch the fireworks go off and see the big show in production. But just like this, the festivities would kind of spread a little bit to the days leading up to the 4th of July, where there would be lots of shops opening up and field days and just various activities. So like it would even draw in people who would stay for like a week and would just do stuff around the city. I'm sure it was great for the local economy. There's already a huge line by the parfait place that I brought her and Chihaya to in hopes that they would make amends back then. We finally managed to get into the store and order, but it looks like we're going to have to wait quite a while.
待たされるのも楽しい。
Aww.
小太郎と二人っきりだし。
We should be very happy, but I'm terrified that this is all going to explode in our faces in just a minute. True, I'm just happy we can talk to each other like this again. Sure has been a while since we last came here, huh?
ありがとう。あの時は私と大鳥さんのために。今も 感謝してる。
Even though we blatantly manipulated you both? The two of you had spent at a spat after that though, right? I'd be more than happy to set something up again. When Lucia was absent, Chihaya was the most worried amongst the entire class. She was bothered that they were at odds with each other again because of everything that had happened, despite just having made up. I'll arrange another giant parfait get-together. Invite Chihaya, Kotarou, Suzuru too. Then maybe we can go for the ultra-giant parfait together next time. It'll be like sharing a hot pot with everyone.
もう時間制限はコリゴリだぞ。大鳥さんも相当無茶なペースで食べてたから味わう余裕なんてなかっただろう。
Well, to be fair, you also were eating at a ridiculous pace. I think it's more likely that she was actively trying to shovel it into her stomach without tasting it. Behind Lucia is a wall of fame where her name is proudly displayed on both the giant parfait and super spicy parfait challenges. Listed at the very top of the spicy parfait corner are the names Konohana Lucia and Otori Chihaya, a record of their glorious achievement. Chihaya's lips were swollen. Just thinking back to it makes my own lips start puffing up. You sure are crazy over spicy food, huh?
からと私がかとんでもない。
I think we're finally gonna get the realization. I'm pretty sure she just doesn't have much of a taste. No need to be modest now. You eat it all the time. Even on our date at Kazamo, I actually had them especially prepare spicy cooking for her. Lucia even licked her lips as she remarked how delectable it was. I wanted to taste something similar, so I asked them to make my dishes just a fraction of her level of spice, but even that was pretty dang hot. That restaurant in Kazamo was really good, really lives up to its reputation. It was pretty spicy, but it wasn't just cheap, flavorless heat, and though I kept going for the water and rice, the taste was addicting. That's what good spice is. I love good spice. Not just like a blatant like blast, but like really genuinely hot. It's cool. I went to a farmer's market. I'm just rambling today. I went to a farmer's market this past weekend. One of my favorite things to go do. And went to a shop where there was a guy who makes his own hot sauce. So he's just got a little kind of at home. He has like a little miniature feel. Like I think he's got he said like a couple acres in his backyard, but he just kind of bakes pepper plants and then he uses the peppers to make hot sauces. And I bought from him this, it's not mango, it's another tropical fruit though. Not tangerine. Oh, come on, it's gonna drive me mad. Nectarine. Nectarine and ghost pepper. And so it's got a really powerful kick, but it's also got this really nice sweetness. Like you actually taste it and like the sweetness of the fruit really comes through really strong. It almost tastes like a jam, but then you get this rising heat that comes up on the backside, almost like a wave kind of following in. It reminds me like of the waves of the shore, how like it pulls back and reveals all this beautiful sand and then the wave comes in and crashes in. That's kind of how the heat slams into you. Like you get this sweetness and then the smash of the heat, but I love it. It's so good. Lucia laughs, but her expression's a little clouded over as she's gazing downward. What's wrong? Is the food not to your taste?
そんなはずはない。美味しかったとも。小太郎と一緒の食事で美味しくないわけがない。
Well, okay then. I'm at a loss as I don't know what's troubling her. Lucia notices my unease and smiles to try and soothe my worry.
すまない。実は謝ることがある。
See, I wonder if like because the poison and such like affects like material. I almost wonder like she can control like things spreading, but like what about herself? Maybe it breaks stuff down like as she takes a bite, so she doesn't really get to experience like food or even texture. Lucia suddenly brings something up out of the blue. Did I do something bad that day and end up hurting her? She notices the apprehension in my expression and waves her hands as she speaks.
小太郎が悪いとかそういう話じゃないんだ。誤解しないでほしい。
Okay. Really? Well, if you say so.
実は小太郎に隠し事はしたくないと言っておきながら。
Yeah.
まだ話してないことがあるのだ。
After all the stuff about curses and secret societies, you name it, I've already heard it. Just about the only thing that'll surprise me is if you tell me you were actually born from a bamboo shoot and have to go back to the moon or something.
それ面白いな。
Sorry I cut you off there. So what is it?
最初に 誤解ないように言っておきたいんだが、私はあの日のデート、すごい楽しかったし、食事もすごい美味しかった。お化粧や香水を褒められたのも嬉しかったし、その。
So you had fun, basically.
私だって楽しく過ごしたかったから、楽しい雰囲気に水を差したくなくて、黙ってたんだ。
About what?
私にとってあまり楽しい話じゃなかったから。
I
内緒
understand.
にしてた。
I don't think it's going to be anything truly upsetting, hopefully.
でも、小太郎にだけは話しておきたい。
Is it something serious?
そんなに深刻じゃない。私にとってはもうずいぶん長いから当たり前のことだし。
God, it's like, I understand it's hard, but come on, you can do it. Her gaze is still cast down. Lucia smirks at herself. She chokes on her words for just a moment and then continues.
私は味がわからないんだ。
It's one of the few times I think I did make a pretty good call pretty early on. I think I mentioned way back when we were doing the spicy thing, I was just like, it's almost like she doesn't taste things, or at least her taste is so strongly muted for whatever reason, like damaged or something, that she just doesn't respond to it. So yeah, interesting. You don't have a sense of taste.
そのままの意味だ。
Okay, so okay, I always thought it was like dull. No, she's like none.
私は相当昔から物を食べても味というものがわからなくなっている。
So food for her must be all texture. In a way, like, that's a little sad because, like, the experience of eating delicious food is a pretty fun one, but as someone who's had a very strong battle with food and diets and just trying to, like, have a good, healthy life, and having to wrestle with that my entire life, is like a good example of, if you're new to the channel, go watch some of my older videos, even just for a second. You'll see I was a lot bigger, and that was most of my life. I was always a very big, overweight person. And I went on a journey of like extreme diets with doctors and all this whole weight loss program that has led to what I am today, which is not perfect, but I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. And I've been able to maintain it for a while now. So I'm very, very proud of it. I even have I think I have a whole video where I talk about it in great detail. I just don't remember where it is. I think it's in like a standalone. Like I have a playlist of like one shots or like miscellaneous videos. So it's probably in there if you really want to go see it. I think I talk about that whole weight loss journey. But regardless of that, having always struggled with food and essentially wrestling with what is akin to a food addiction, which is where cravings can be so powerful that it feels like almost impossible to avoid. In fact, there are foods that I refuse to allow in my house because it's literally like, I'll just eat it. It'll just happen, even if I know I shouldn't. One of my biggest weaknesses, oddly, is like Oreos. Most of the time, if there's like candy or treats in the house, like I will start munching on them. Even though I try my best to avoid it or at least minimize it, and I keep it to small portions to, make sure it's not a huge issue. But Oreos have always been this really weird weakness I have that's a lot more psychological than anything else. Where even to this day, walking through the store, if I go to see Oreos on the shelf, part of me gets this lunging of like, I want to buy those, I want to eat those, and it's really dangerous for me in a healthy way. So I have to avoid them like the plague. And it's really weird how that works, but again, it's like it's an addiction. It's not sensible, it's not logical, and it's something I had to master even before all the crazy stuff with like the massive weight loss program. I had to prove I could at least like stave them off until we could retrain my body to accept eating less. And that's what we have done, which is great. But it's this interesting idea, like where I look at this idea of like, I have no sensation or sort of taste whenever I eat anything. It sounds sad, but for somebody like me, I almost wish I had that, because then maybe this urge, this addiction would be a lot easier to fight off if the pleasurable part of eating were removed somehow. Maybe it would help it become just a simple function, simple like survival rather than anything else. But I would never wish that on anybody, including myself. It's just, for someone like me, it might be almost a good thing, but I don't know. I'd really miss it. I'd miss even like the things I've learned to cook that are healthy but also taste delicious. Huh, so when you do eat...
歯ごたえとか、喉越しとか、盛り付けとか可愛らしさとか、そういうものは楽しんでいる。
Yeah, I imagine it to compensate, texture must be amazingly important to her.
でも、甘いとか辛いとか、そういうものは全くわからないのだ。
And that's what's really interesting because like we have like a physical reaction to extreme heat, like hot peppers, because it's like a chemical. So it's interesting that she doesn't get those effects, even though she can't taste it. I can understand like if you couldn't taste it, but wouldn't you still, even if you don't taste it, get like the puffy lips and like the itching and the burning sensation? Because is that just a flavor? I thought that was more than flavor, but maybe at least in this case it's not. So then when you said you liked spicy food?
別に私は辛いものが好きでも嫌いでもないぞ。何しろ食べてもわからないのだから。
Interesting.
それに私はそんなにも小太郎が驚くほど辛いメニューを頼んでいただろうか。
So okay, confession time, I think. You've shared some things. I might need to share some things now, right, Kotaru?
小太郎とはパフェとか学食のメニューとか普通のものを食べた記憶しかないが。
Lucia doesn't eat spicy food because she likes it. Not at all. It's because she can't taste anything.
誤解しないでほしい。確かに味はわからないかもしれない。でも、だからこそ、私は食事を味以外で楽しむことに人一倍長けることができたのだから。
Yeah, it's like people who go blind or are born blind. They have greater senses of taste and of hearing. And just like more detailed touch. Like, have you ever tried running your finger across a page of Braille? Like it's so crazy to me that like the slight differences that I really can't tell when going across those things, and to watch someone who's blind just go like run their finger kind of rapidly across and they can read all the words like at the same pace that I could read words with my eyes is really cool. And a big part of that is that enhanced sensations where the brain kind of compensates, where it's like, okay, well, we don't have to use these resources for sight and vision. We can reallocate them to help make managing and processing our other senses more powerful. It's really an amazing aspect of the brain. She repeatedly insists that she doesn't find eating uninteresting. Rather, she knows that people would be put off if they found out that she couldn't taste anything, and she kept it silent about it.
もちろん幼い頃は味覚も普通だった。だからその頃の味の記憶は持ってる。
See, that would be kind of sad. Because if you never had it, you wouldn't really know what you were missing.
だから私は物を食べるとき、それがどんな味かを想像するようにしている。すると不思議なもので、実際にその味を感じているような気分になれるんだ。人間というのはすごいな。
Yeah, again, the brain's pretty cool.
例えばパフェがそうだ。甘くて美味しいことはよく覚えてる。そして盛り付けが立派ならそれはさらに美味しいだろうと思う。
So, because super spicy parfait at least looked cute and pretty, she can just think to herself that it's sweet and delicious, and she can eat it without issue. What if I had her eat a mild sweet curry while talking to her about super spicy curry? Would she then associate that with memories of eating something with spice and react as if she was eating something spicy? Either way, I had the wrong idea from the beginning.
だから大鳥さんと食べたあの日のここの巨大パフェがきっと私が食べた中で生まれてから一番甘くて美味しかったパフェだったと思うし。
I think we should at least point out the like how she won the spicy parfait.
実際私にはそう感じられた。楽しくて美味しかった。
Aww.
だからぜひもう一度このお店に来たかったんだ。
Wait a minute. The giant parfait that she believed to be sweet and delicious is in fact the super spicy parfait that was made because of a misunderstanding. What she ate was pretty much inedible, but I'd be ruining the mood if I said that right now. To Lucia, the terrible parfait is one of her fondest memories. Even if she can't taste anything, she'll just tell me that parfait was was the most delicious thing to her. Sure, that was something that she came up with herself, but all I can do is bite my lip and look down.
ついでだからもっと白状する。味覚がダメなんで、嗅覚もダメなんだ。
I guess that makes sense. The two are very heavily linked.
だからカザモの時、小太郎がお化粧や香水を褒めてくれた時も、実は私には自分がどんな匂いの香水をつけているのかも 分かってなかったんだ。
I'm guessing she worked with like someone else to help her pick it out. Maybe Shizuru, which is good. And the nice thing too about perfume and cologne, at least, is like you really don't need that much. You can make a pretty strong impression with just like one spray, 1 or 2 sprays.
実はあの日の香水はしずるに選んでもらったんだ。鼻の利かない私じゃおかしな匂いになってしまうかもしれないから。
Oh yeah, you should never trust like the look of a bottle or its advertising at all. Absolutely has no bearing on how good it smells.
だから褒められて嬉しかった反面、私が選んだ香水というわけではなかったので。
That's so? I mean, the sense of taste is tied with the sense of smell. But how come? You were normal before, right? Is it some kind of sickness? It's because of what she went through, like, clearly.
抑制剤の副作用だ。
Oh, okay, the suppressants.
これでもだいぶマシになった。昔は視覚も白黒テレビみたいだったし、肌で風を感じるのも曖昧だった。
Oh my gosh, so it made her, like, the older one used to make her colorblind and would even make her, like, dulled her sense of oh my gosh, the suppressants suck!
痛覚も曖昧で、怪我に気づかないことさえあって、それでいじめられたこともあった。
Why? Who would bully people for not noticing they were hurt? In other words, this is another curse of her body. It's thanks to her cursed body, one that's only allowed to live in this world thousands of years in the future. Just how many other hardships that I still don't know have been forced onto that body of hers. For as long as she can remember, she was already roped into some crazy project. After that, she was fooled with nihilistic propaganda that the Earth was going to be destroyed and forced to agreeing that let her body be cursed without any free will. A world 1,000 years from now, still in 1,000 years. That isn't the sort of effort we should put into preventing the Earth's destruction 1,000 years in the future. We should start with the individual efforts, building up from a larger scale, right? Why should we force that sort of gargantuan responsibility on a few young children? That must suck, having all sorts of side effects. I really want Lucia to get angry. I want her to be resentful towards the Next Generation Humanity Project who screwed up her life. But she doesn't get mad. Maybe she can't get mad.
もちろん、普通の人とは違う体に悩んだ日もあった。しかしそれは、1000年後に文明を伝える重大な任務の一部なのだ。私は、今でもその任務を背負っていると思っている。
I wonder... I've known and like been in relationships with people who are very heavily religious, for example, right? But this is like another level entirely. It'd be like trying to date somebody who was raised in a cult. Like maybe they're out of it, but like a lot of those like impressions and like mentalities and like ways of thinking are probably pretty ingrained. What would that be like trying to have a relationship with somebody that's like is trying to leave or has left, but still has a lot of those like ingrained beliefs? That must be very difficult because it's like, you can't just tell them like, oh no, that's just nonsense, stop it. Because no, like it's a massive part of their life and like their point of view. And maybe they can get a proper perspective, but how do you go about helping them maybe gain that perspective without trampling all over their desires and their interests and their personal beliefs? It's... Poor Lucia. Lucia.
私はこうして小太郎と過ごした楽しい思い出をもし伝えられるなら1000年後の世界に伝えたい。人の営みや賑やかさ、そして人と触れ合うことの楽しさを伝えたい。それはとても大切で重要な天が私に与えた試練であり役割であると思っているんだ。
Come on, Kotarou, listen to her. She's plainly changed her tune a little bit. There's something different. So she declares proudly, her eyes are just ever so slightly cloudy with resignation. That's right. If venting her rage and anger at the project would bring her body back, then she would have howled and raged as much as she needed. But her body won't turn back. She has no choice but to accept this irreversible fate given to her. That's why, even though she talks proudly about it, she can't help but feel a tinge of sadness.
私は自分に与えられた運命を全うする。そのためだけにもしその任務が奪われたなら私がこの世界に存在する意味は
That's not true. Everyone's existence has value. Even if you don't have that now, you can create it as time goes by. Value isn't just given, it's created. Isn't that right?
ただいるだけで花を枯らせ 時計を壊し技を与え海を吐かせる存在にどんな存在価値があるというのだ。
That's hard, because there are people who would highly value that, but they're the wrong kind of people.
私は確かに歩く放射性物質だと思う。人々を病気にするだけの危険極まりない存在だ。
A walking pile of radioactive waste. Lucia would never say those words herself, which means that someone else. Who said that nonsense to you?
いいんだ。ひどいとは思うが適切なあだ名だと思う。プルトニウムだって叱るべき扱いを受ければ生活を豊かにすることができるんだ。
I guess that's true?
いい例えだと思う。私は私のそれが誰にも迷惑をかけず、そしてみんなの役に立てる。だから私は普通の人間とは異なってて、と味覚や嗅覚がなくてもそれを悲しいとはもし私から私にしかできない役割が奪われたなら、私は本当の意味でただいるだけで忌むべきとなる。
Oh
放射性
gosh.
廃棄物となってしまう。
This sucks. This really sucks. You think about it, it sounds so simple to be like, of course not, you add value, but then you also think about like, what if this was what was his name? Fireboy from the Chihaya route. Kendo, I can't remember his name. So imagine a guy like that, you literally relishes in suffering and death, right? Like his more than happy to throw his power around in order to bring about what he felt was righteous fury, righteous vengeance, right? What if he, or someone like him, was given the powers Lucia has, and was actively using them to poison and kill people? We would, without a second thought, be like, we gotta take that person out. No, we can't let this continue. And it's sad because the context of the individual makes such a big difference, despite the fact that the amount of damage that they can commit and can bring about, whether intended or otherwise, is not any different. That's troubling, really. It's actually troubling to me that there's not a clear answer here. There's a very pragmatic answer, but I don't like that answer, especially because Lucia is too wholesome and precious and too too innocent to just say, yep, let's take her out. Don't call yourself radioactive waste. Besides,
いや、そう。私はこんな話がしたかったわけじゃない。
Lucia cuts the conversation short. She clearly wants to drop the topic. I realize I'm getting too emotional as well, so I fall silent.
それより、ほら、私が手袋を取れたことを喜んでほしい。新しい抑制剤のおかげなんだ。今度の薬はすごい。
Oh.
私の味覚や嗅覚が戻り始めたんだ。
That's really cool, but also disturbing. Why? Why is there suddenly just this amazing suppressant that now has all the upsides and none of the downsides? Really? That's great to hear. Normally, that would be definitely cause for celebration. That means she's finally able to truly experience eating a parfait. It feels like we're ignoring something much more important. Yeah, I do feel bad, but I just can't find it in me to truly rejoice with her. Our order sure is taking its time.
混んでいるからな。仕方ないさ。
Uh-oh. What's wrong? Lucia casts her head down, her breathing growing rough and pained. She seems to be exhausted, in fact. She's been that way since earlier. I thought it only looked that way because we were talking about something serious. Uh-oh. Hey, you okay? You look really pale.
ごめん、小太郎。ここ、空気が辛い。
Alright, let's step out then?
ごめん。まだパフェも来てないのに。
No big deal. We can have them next time we come. If there is ever a next time. Even though her sense of taste is finally back, we leave the store without partaking in the parfaits. I decide to bring her home. On the way back, though, she asks the rest of the park. Guess that's just how badly she's doing. I help her recline down onto a bench. Her forehead's already covered in beads of sweat. Even though we're just a short distance from her house, she doesn't even have the stamina to make it back. You look terrible. Should I call an ambulance?
大丈夫だから。少しだけここで休ませて。ここは空気がきれい。
There were a lot of people back there, huh? The congested air from everyone around must have done you in.
そうかもしれないな。嗅覚が急に戻ったから、人間の匂いになれないんだろう。でも、小太郎の匂いは好きだ。今日初めて知ったはずなのに、初めてじゃない気がして、とても不思議だ。
She's so prim and proper, so when she throws out lines like this one, you're just like, oh, okay. Don't force yourself to keep talking. Just lie down, take it easy.
ありがとう。ここは空気がいいから、本当に楽なの。だから、小太郎もここ、座って。小太郎が隣にいてくれれば、私はそれで、どこでだってデートになるから。
How do you say no to that? Good idea. Being in the park isn't bad once in a while.
体調は悪いけど、五感が戻る感じがして嬉しいの。なんだか世界がとても広くて鮮やかで眩しく感じる。私はこれまで味覚と嗅覚だけがダメになってると思ってたけど、どうもそれ以外にもたくさんのものがダメだったらしい。だから世界が急に眩しくなりすぎて、それでやられてしまったのだろう。
Man, like, imagine if you permanently were wearing sunglasses, where, like, it just kind of dulled everything a little bit. I mean, it's not like you couldn't enjoy the world or appreciate color or hue, but it would also absolutely muddle what it actually was.
だからちょっと今は辛いけど、そんな鮮烈な世界に今はちょっと感動してる。
I see. That's good to know. When you feel better, maybe we can go bicycling together in the nature park.
良い提案だな。それはきっと楽しいだろう。
Lucia gazes into the distance, perhaps imagining what it would be like. A cool breeze blows past us, making her long black hair flutter in the wind. Both her eyes are closed, her thoughts are focused on the beautiful greenery of the park. She seems a little more composed compared to when we were in the parfait shop. I decide to stay together with her until her condition stabilizes. Good!
綺麗だな。この世界は。
It really is. It's not mean. It's kind of mean though. I don't know if you might notice, like my hand, like it looks a little pale here. Had my first real encounter accidentally with what looks like poison ivy. It really it's been messing me up these past few days.
でも、滅ぶのだな。
Lucia. There has to be something more important, so many more things we can discuss at length. But she's too terrible a shape to force that. She gazes at the scenery with a look of acceptance, as if she feels sorry that she'll never be able to see this again. The way Lucia looks, it's as if she'll be leaving this world any minute now. Anxiety grips my heart. In the parfait shop, I said I'd barely been surprised if Lucia said she was actually born from a bamboo shoot and now has to go back to the moon. Feels as if that joke is about to turn into reality, and it's terrifying. On the park bench, Lucia gazes longingly up at the greenery, lauding the arrival of autumn. Sharing that bench seat, I, silent, with my gaze cast down as I quiver in fear and the sad fate that's about to visit us. No way in hell we're letting that happen.
滅ぶさ。約束された。人類の運命だ。
Screw that, and I'll be the one that saves humanity.
空き缶の分別も満足にできないくせに。
I wash and flatten them first before sorting.
偉いな。教えた甲斐があった。
If you still insist on the earth coming to an end,
言うなら。
I'll stick with you, even 1,000 years into the future.
小太郎。
And here we go. The explosive blew a hole through the duct, creating a new opening. Nishikyojo's agents, armed to the teeth, charged in one after the other. Renda's mercenaries put up a strong line of resistance, however the side already had a complete grasp of the shelter's internal structure. By knocking open holes in the wall's weak points, they circumvented the mercenaries surrounding them and gained control of the area.
クーガ、奴らは爆薬を使って迂回路を開いた。
了解した。阻止線を放棄。第7層まで撤退して溶接封鎖しろ。
了解。退路を断たれるぞ。急げ急げ急げ。
Nishikujo's forces use a combination of armor-piercing rounds, claymores, and mines to rout out the defensive line of Brenda's mercenaries, which had pinned them down earlier. However, the battle-hardened mercenaries showed no sign of surrendering.
モニター室よりハインツ。すばしっこい奴が回り込んでくるぞ。前方直線100メートルで快適。コンタクトまで10秒。敵兵は1。推定戦闘能力者。
了解。全員フルオートにセット。一斉射撃で仕留めるぞ。接敵を許すな。
Suddenly, there's an explosion 100 meters ahead, filling the corridor with a white smoke.
スモーク、来るぞ。撃て。
The mercenaries unleashed a hail of bullets toward the direction of the smoke. Where's the enemy? Along the right side of the wall? Or the left? They're crawling. A storm of bullets impossible to dodge rages through the cloud of white. The enemy breaks through the smokescreen, however. They don't fall within the mercenaries' line of sight. That's because she's completely betrayed their expectations of where she's coming from. I mean, for people who are expecting people to use smokescreens as a smokescreen, using a smokescreen as a distraction is pretty effective. For Shizuru, breaking through the opponent's 100-meter range of fire was an objective in itself. Running across the floor is just a means to an end. In other words, the floor, walls, and even the ceiling are all equally valid options. Look at her go! She runs along every surface in a spiral, ending the volley of lead. Her blonde hair traces a path in the air, creating a spiral of gold. It only takes Shizuru 10 seconds to reach her enemies 100 meters away. Fetch me! She's Sonic! It takes 5 mercenaries 3 seconds to unload their 30-round magazines filled with 9mm parabellum, another 3 seconds to change magazines. In other words, they can unleash at most 30 rounds, times 5 people, times 2 magazines, up to 300 rounds of 9mm bullets to intercept Shizuru. But for Shizuru, who synthesizes a stimulant to boost her brain's perception of time, as well as to heighten her central nervous system to the limit, even rain is nothing more than scattered droplets hanging in the air for her count one by one. Ooh. Assuming a typical rainstorm has an average of 1,000 raindrops per square meter, to Shizuru, this rain of 300 or so bullets. That's terrifying. The golden spiral traces her blonde hair, swallows them whole. Shizuru grabs a high carbon steel combat knife. In her hands, it becomes a weapon that can pierce through even Duralaman's shields. Dang. Just cold and calculated. Right as the golden spirals pass each of the mercenaries, they slowly fall to the ground one by one.
しずる、阻止線制圧。
しずる？ちょっと、なんでしずるちゃんがそこにいるの？あんた病院抜けたの？どうして？
Sheesh.
飽きたから。
I was bored. Look at her. This outfit's pretty cool.
なんて言ったの？早く撤収しなさい。あなたまだ入院中なのよ。
Shizuru ignores Nishikujo's uproars and grabs one of the mercenaries, all of which are still alive, by the collar.
ルチアはどこ？最下層。
あの娘か。研究者どもが最下層で、いろいろと何かやってたらしいが、ミス・マクファーデンに聞くといい。俺たちはただの雇われだ。
Yeah, the downside of mercenaries.
知らない。
They follow the money, but they're not likely to die in the line of duty if they can avoid it.
わかった。もういい。寝てろ。
Shizuru breathes on the mercenary and he immediately loses consciousness. What she breathed on him is a powerful anesthetic gas created by her internal synthesizer.
しずるより全員。ルチアは最下層の模様。確保は慎重に。一味が交戦するなら、協力者を許可。
しずるちゃんそれを命令するのは私
第7層阻止線は降伏。モニター室を占拠しました。最高層カメラにブレンダー・マクファーデンを発見。降伏しています。ブレンダー一味は武装解除しています。
大至急制圧。ルチアを最優先。
だからそれを命令するのは私。
Oh, calm down. She's doing good. Like you were gonna say anything different. Shizuru and the company breach the lowest level. The area looks like the hold of a giant ark. Dimly lit, gloomy space extends all the way up to the high ceiling. With Shizuru at the helm, the agents descend a spiral staircase step by precarious step. Brenda, the researchers, and the mercenaries have their hands behind their heads, while their weapons are placed in a corner, a sign of submission.
降伏するわ。だから撃たないでちょうだい。ガーディアンフォース。検証第27条。我らの槍は無抵抗のものを愛。
それを行使するかどうかはガーディアンジャパンが決める。ルチアはどこ？
ここにはいないわ。
冷凍睡眠装置を確保。しかし蓋は開いている。ルチアの姿はない。
ルチアはどこだ？
彼女のあるべき世界へ旅立ったわ。
Oh no. Is that? Oh no. What if that's what they did? So they remember I said like she had suppressants that were way powerful, but seemed to have known downsides, right? What if that's what all it is? It's a suppressant, but it's a buildup. Because remember, she's radiating more poison than she ever has. But they give her a suppressant that isn't pure suppressant, right? It suppresses, but it doesn't suppress the creation of the poison. It just keeps her from excreting it. So it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And then when the suppressant wears off, then her poison like explodes. Like they literally made her into a dirty bomb. And she's going to build the world that they wanted her to live in. Like they literally are going to destroy the world to bring about what they predicted it would be. That's literally insane if that's what she's doing. Like not even like insane as in like, you know, they've decided the world's going to be over, so they have to prepare for it. They're literally going to be like, well, we're just going to kill the world ourselves. Brenda smirks, responding to it with a cryptic reply. Even with her provocation, Shizuru maintains her expression. However, she quickly sidesteps behind Brenda, kicking her in the knee before yanking her up by the collar. When Shizuru had someone important to protect, her temper flares up. It manifests so slightly that you could even be mistaken for cold-heartedness.
もう一度は言わない。ルチアはどこだ？私の親友を返せ。
我々は彼女を拘束なんてしてないわ。彼女は自らの信念に基づいてここを出て行った。どこへ行ったかなんて私は知らないわ。
ブレンダ。お前のことをルチアはよく話していた。お前は脳に直接作用させる無慈悲な実験装置で子供たちを大勢殺した。そしてルチアはお前から痛覚を無視することを学ばされたと言っていた。ならば、それを学ばせたお前自身にそれが可能か。
Holy crap.
試してやる。
She's terrifying.
拷問？
私は体内工場で人体を司る劇物を数百から生み出せる。お前の脳に干渉して人類がおよそ体験できるすべての苦痛を再現することが可能だ。
She could do all that without actually hurting her.
お前の研究では人は苦痛の情報だけで死ねるそうだ。
Holy crap.
お前も数百度の煮えたぎる硫黄の泉での我が身を茹でられる脳内体験で。
Oh my gosh.
しずる、やめなさい。
こいつはルチアで何かを企んでる。知ってて黙っている。私が吐かせる。ルチアはこいつらの狂った妄想に付き合わされ、何もかも失わされたんだ。小太郎なら許さない。私だって許さない。
Oh, interesting.
次世代人類プロジェクトが狂っていたかどうか、それを決めるのは旧人類のあなたじゃないわ。生命の世代交代という名の神の暴虐。私たちはね、ついに神に勝利したのよ。
Oh no, they might have actually done it. They might have done it, and maybe they did it because Kotarou exists. Maybe they were just waiting for somebody who could survive the poison, and they're like, oh, we got our Adam and Eve. Let's nuke the world with poison.
あなたにわからなくてもいい。すぐに訪れる新しき時代でそれが理解されるわ。
どうか、私にこいつは許せない。
待ちなさい。これは命令よ。それも私じゃない。総本部からよ。
どういうこと？
たった今、東京司令部経由で命令が来たわ。総本部の人道に背く罪を裁く委員会が全容究明のため、ブレンダたちの身柄を総本部へ送還するよう求めてるって。
Why? That seems ridiculous.
そいつらに傷一つつけずに直ちに引き渡せって言ってるの。 身柄引き受けのための使者がすでに専用機で日本に向かってる。命令書署名はマルティーニ・フランチェスコ枢機卿団長。
I wonder if he's like in on it.
その女はなぜか総本部に保護されてるのよ。
そんなバカな。
なんてこと。ブレンダー、あんたはまさか。
That's what I thought. I think she just got sponsored by a different diocese, because that's the idea, is like they all operate independently. So yeah, they got kicked out of the craziness here in Japan because of what they were doing. Doesn't mean that they couldn't find a different diocese that would agree with them.
我らこの身を捧げ盾となり槍とならん。
Oh my gosh. Our phone ringing. But it's not my ringtone. It goes ding-a-ling like an old telephone. Whose phone is it? Then I realize it's a public payphone. Huh? So you can actually call payphones too? The more you know. It's true, actually. You just need the right number. Lucia slowly gets up off the bench. Her expression is as pained as it was earlier, but for some reason she has a refreshed smile. With the payphone still ringing, Lucia speaks.
小太郎
What?
大好き。
Oh, crap. I love that you're saying that, but I'm also really upset that you're saying that. I love you too.
私はあなたがいなかったら生きていけなかった。
And I'll be here for you as long as you live.
小太郎は
Yeah?
小太郎は私がいなくても
I don't like
生
that.
きていけるよ。
What do you mean by that? Something I said must have hurt her. I can't tell, but I don't know what it was.
もしも新しき世界でも今度は生涯一緒にいよう。
Why can't we now, though?
絶対に私を一人ぼっちにしないでね。
Hey, Lucia, wait! With a wistful smile, she enters a still ringing telephone booth, as if the day for her return to the moon has come. But why? She's just going to the phone booth. Lucia! She answers the phone as if the call really is meant for her.
我らこの身を捧げ盾となり。
我らこの身を捧げ盾となり槍とならん神の子ルチアですね。その時がやってまいりました。
はい。
偽りの預言者に惑わされた子らにより鍵の封印が解かれようとしています。
Oh my gosh.
御使いに語りかけるなど愚かなことです。
はい。
この度の鍵による再創生は全人類と全地球に及ぶでしょう。しかしながら人類は未だ若い。それを問うのは1000年の後の話です。
Oh no. Oh no. Are they going to use her as a weapon under the assumption that they can avoid like the doom that's supposed to come for 1,000 years because they can't, like God's dictated that's what is going to happen, so we can just do whatever we want. That mentality is exactly what terrifies me about some people. I can't believe, oh my gosh.
惑わされた子らにより御使いが判断を誤るようなことがあってはなりません。
はい。審判は父がお決めになられます。御使いが決めるべきではありません。
That's so backwards though. If you believe God the Father sent the messenger, then the messenger is the one, like that. Why would they send a messenger if it wasn't meant to be the one to decide this?
あなたは人類の来たるべき未来の闇を払う一条の光となるでしょう。そしてそれはあなたにしか成し得ないことです。
光栄です。陛下。
Oh my gosh, don't do what I think you're about to do.
あなたに祝福を。聖ルチア。聖ルチア、この花。
我らこの身を捧げ盾となり。
She slowly resets the phone on its receiver. Meanwhile, Kotarou stares blankly at Lucia from outside the phone booth. Oh my gosh. Lucia, who was that just now?
小太郎、一緒に来てほしい。すぐ近くだ。
Hey, Lucia! Even though her face is sweating bullets, she's clearly in pain. She starts walking toward the destination at a brisk pace. Lucia enters a grove of trees deep inside the park, following a narrow path leading somewhere. Suddenly, she grasps at her chest. She's bent forward, breathing roughly. Oh my gosh, no! Stop it! Let's go back home, you need rest!
もうそこだ。その丘の向こうだ。
Past the... Whoa! Oh. How did she find this place? Why would she choose here, though? She's gonna be booming, even though it's already November. Before my eyes stretches a field of sunflowers, strangely in full bloom. But how? There's so many here this time of year.
珍しいだろう。外国で品種改良されたひまわりだそうだ。日本の一般的なひまわりと違って涼しくなってから咲く。
Really? It's a pretty weird, alright.
私ひまわりが大好きで
Right. Oh.
大嫌いだった。
This music, it sounds too happy and sad at the same time. I don't like it. Actually, it's really beautiful, but I'm scared. It was in Santa Ambrosia that I first encountered a field of sunflowers. I still remember the strange feeling I had seeing the other children running through the field as they played. All the suffering I endured from the project should have been part of my important duty. Despite that, the children playing in the sunflower fields all looked so much more dazzling than my own self. All those sunflowers also first taught me that touching them would cause them to wither. That's why from then on, I've always been frightened of sunflowers. Despite... Oh.
好きなんだ。ひまわり触れたら枯れるかもって思ってずっと遠くから眺めてるだけだったけど、今日やっとここまで来られた。ここはあの日の私の。
That's enough already, right? Even if you touch those sunflowers, they aren't gonna just wilt.
どうかな。
Touch them and see. Gingerly, she grabs hold of the thick stalk of one of the sunflowers blooming long out of season. It can't possibly wilt. Of course it won't. See? It's fine, right?
大丈夫だ。ザラザラだ。
Yeah, they're oddly prickly. It sure is. That's how sunflower stalks are.
案外痛いよな。頬ずりして痛かったの思い出した。
You're not cursed to make flowers wither anymore. Those sunflowers aren't going to die. This time, all these sunflowers here are giving you their blessing. Oh gosh.
祝福
Oh my gosh, why'd you say that?
してくれてるのか。でもこの子はもうダメだね。
Huh? Ah! The sunflower that Lucia is touching slowly, ever so slowly, wilts. It's like the friendly cat slowly curling towards Lucia's neck and twining with her. Oh my gosh, and it slowly turns a shade of black. But why? How? Again? No way! It's gotta be a coincidence. It's just one flower. It just happened to be weak, so it wilted, that's all. What the hell? That's just slight brush already caused that to happen? Can you see? Lucia's right here. Quit screwing with her, you... The sunflower falls to Lucia's feet, and I try to get it to stand back up. But its stalk that had previously stood tall now withered and dead, like it was all just an illusion.
お別れだ。小太郎。
Oh my gosh, oh no. Don't, please. This isn't a joke to Lucia, so please stop. Slowly, the tops of the sunflowers around Lucia drop one by one. Each of them turns black, dark stains spreading across each of the big, beautiful, vividly yellow flowers. One by one they wilt, wither, turn black, and crumble to nothing. It's as if the yellow flowers themselves are all escaping from Lucia. In the middle of a nightmarish field of black, rotting sunflowers, Lucia stands. She turns around to me with a smile on her face.
さようなら。小太郎。
The blackness continues to emanate from her. After swallowing the force of the sunflowers, it expands farther, enveloping the trees of the forest, even the little birds flying in the sky. The black spreads, her nightmare consumes all. Fetch me. The wind carries her tears. Finally, the world of black devours even my consciousness. Everything before my eyes suddenly turns dark and I collapse like a marionette with its strings cut. I finally fall to the ground just like some toy. I can't even reach my hand out to Lucia as she slowly walks away from the blackening field of sunflowers. Come on, like, adapt, dude! Oh my gosh. Are you freaking serious? I heard the sound of wind, faint, distant, and also sad. Or perhaps it's the sound of waves. Suddenly I realize it's the sound of blood as it pumps through my body. Still groggy, I try to remember how I got my circulation going. Oh my gosh. What was I doing? Why was I on the ground? I didn't make my body into one that could handle Lucia. Didn't I make my body into one that could handle Lucia's poison? I know Lucia gave off some super poisonous looking fumes. It looks so much more toxic than when she left a mark on my arm. But still, that was Lucia's poison. I can't handle it now? Did I make Lucia sad again? What the hell are you doing, Kotarou? I can't just lie on my own butt here. There he goes, yes! Adapt! Fine, I'll stop the accelerator, floor it as hard as I can. I'll stomp down all the way as far as it can go. The core within my body is set alight, burning bright and hot. It's as if the pitch black poison permeating through my body is being burned away to nothing. I managed to overcome the poison yet again. I finally reached Lucia's realm where the level of poison is the norm. Ugh! Holy crap, you're here! Ugh, everything's spinning. Sickening sensation assaults me like the feeling of having swept way too much, but 100 times worse. My vision is spinning, my head feels incredibly nauseated. He probably was literally like kind of technically dead for a bit. All I can do for a while is just roll around with my head in my arms.
大丈夫？信じらんないくらい体調いいじゃないですか。
I wonder if Chihaya can survive because of Sakuya. Chihaya! It finally dawns on me. I know this girl. Just how exactly do I look well over here? Ugh!
大勢の人々が転ぶように死んでいったってのに。あなたは頭痛とめまい程度なんて。
Oh my gosh. How is Lucia gonna recover from this?
あなた、実は何者なんです？
Tennouji Kotarou, your friendly neighborhood busybody who's above average in the looks department. Ugh, dang it, quit messing around, head! Eventually, my nausea subsides. I realize I've been laying down on a park bench. When I look down, I see my once white uniform is now splotched with purple dots all over it. On my head is a moist handkerchief. Seems like Chihaya was looking after me. Forget about me. What are you doing here?
私は、普通の人じゃないですから。
I can sense there's something deeper going on here. Chihaya's superhuman strength isn't normal, that's for sure. She's also one of those superhumans. Oh, whatever. I'll have to ask about that later. Thanks for helping me out. What time is it right now? Looks like it's the middle of the night. Quiet, but not absolutely silent. I can hear the din of a helicopter from far away. But that's all I can hear. Even though it's late at night, there should be cars racing around or a bustling nightlife. There isn't any sound of that. What the heck? What time is it now?
深夜4時くらいです。この公園、覚えてません？
Oh my gosh, it's been hours.
以前、あなたらと一緒に、この花さんの家にお見舞いに行って、追い返されたことがあって。ほら、そこのブランコで話をしたことがあったでしょ？
So this is that park. This is where we took the break just before going to the field of sunflowers. And then the phone in that booth started ringing. Lucia picked up the receiver, talked to someone. Lucia, where's Lucia?
入院先の病院がうまく避難してくれてるといいんですけどね。
So, at least she doesn't know. Chihaya doesn't know that Lucia has already left the hospital. She couldn't know. And seriously, what is up with this creepy silence? It's still like we're in another world. The city should hardly be unfamiliar even during the wee hours, but there's clearly something off here. Finally, my eyes grow accustomed to the darkness. It's only then that I realize how the world before me is completely different. 1, 2, 3. There's so many bodies. Countless more are sprawled out around me. Could it be the kids who were playing in the park earlier? I bet they were just running around playing and then they slowly fell to the ground one by one. Kids tripped and fell all the time. Anyone would assume that they would get back on their feet and start running again. Except none of them ever did. All those kids were playing in the park. They became ragdolls on the ground, never to get back up again. Looking all around me, I can see that it's not just the park either. on the streets. You can see corpses of passersby strewn about here, there. Cars have crashed into each other. It's a horrifying scene. Holy crap. The drivers let go of the wheel with no warning, leaving their cars to drive forward until they crashed into something. After seeing my surroundings, I realized this must be happening throughout the entire city. That's why there's no the off-putting smell of something burning lingering in the air. Whoa, what is all this?
ずいぶんピュアな反応ですね。あなた、一体いつからあそこで倒れてたんですか?
How long? I left school and bumped into Lucia at the school gate. After that, we went straight to the parfait place. Let's see, I think it was a little past noon. Right now, it's about 4 in the morning. Does that mean I've been out for well over half a day?
ニュースでは、テロ組織が犯行声明を出したとかなんとか。
Terrorist organization?
ガイアという国際テロ組織がやったとかなんとか。
Wait. Gaia claimed it was them? Or is that a false flag?
よくもまあ、そんな白々しい嘘をシャーシャーと押し通せるものです。何がテロよ。全部、奴らがやったことじゃない。
How long has Chihaya had to witness this disaster? Feelings of anger and sadness gush from within her. Unable to repress her endless indignation, she continues to shout words of rage to the sky against whoever is responsible for what happened. It hurts. Because I know the one responsible for creating this scene straight out of hell. If Chihaya finds out the one responsible for this horrible situation is Lucia, what will she do? I don't even want to imagine. Actually, wait, you're doing okay, right? Lucia's poison is something no normal human can withstand.
平気な体を持ってるからです。そんな細かいこと、どうでもいいです。
Minor things?
この街、普通の人の方がずっと多かったのに、街全体を攻撃するなんて。
Chihaya once again lashed out in rage. But that's to be expected. The city is dead. The lively crowds excited for the Harvest Festival have turned into corpses. With the appalling sight burned into my eyes, the only form of escape is to scream and howl in anger. This hellscape is probably just a reprise of what happened in Santa Borussia. But Kazamatsuri and the number of victims involved are on a completely different scale in comparison. Surely, Lucia is tormented by how many victims there are. Yeah! Holy crap! I'm pretty sure that would break her! There's no way she could just accept this. Even trying to count how many people have died would be a fruitless effort. Just how deeply wounded is Lucia's heart at this point? Lucia has left her phone off until now. I don't even know if she's carrying it right now. Even then, there's a chance. I open my phone. There's one message. Lucia? No, it can't be. Lucia's already registered on my contacts. This is an unknown number. But I do have an idea of who this is. Probably Miss Nishikyojo. On my old phone, I couldn't return calls to anyone that wasn't registered. There was a whole fuss because it could be used for criminal purposes, so a lot of things have changed. Now it's possible to call any number back via a phone's history. Are the phone systems even working during a calamity like this? Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I tap the call button and hear the phone ring. Oh, it's actually calling.
携帯誰です?
They picked up! Hello!
天の地君なの? 無事? まだ市内? 今はどこなの?
There's some really bad noise over the phone, but I can just barely hold a conversation. Looks like Miss Nishikyojo was able to escape the disaster. She must have assumed I was a goner because I hadn't responded. Yes, I managed to stay safe. I'm what's the park near Lucia's place?
わかる。すぐ迎えに行くから、そこでじっとしてて。
I finally realized where the loud noise is from. Miss Nishikyojo's end is coming from. It's probably the whir of a helicopter's rotor. I've been hearing the sound of a helicopter in the distance since earlier. That must be the one she's in. She's coming over to pick me up.
先生? 誰のことです?
Ah, I meant Miss Nishikyojo. She's not teaching our year, so I guess you wouldn't know her, right? Oh, right. Chihaya doesn't know that Miss Nishikyojo is one of the higher-ups in the Guardian. Anyone would be puzzled if they heard their school teacher was coming to rescue them on a helicopter. Out of nowhere, a blinding bright beam shines on us. The light floods my eyes, making my vision go completely white. 2 helicopters turned in the air, their engines roaring just above us. With the spotlights blinding us, the whirlwind of sand kicked up by the air's currents from the helicopters, neither of us can open our eyes. While I'm protecting my eyes as best I can, the helicopters land one after another on the open space in the park. I wonder if her poison is like a cloud, and the helicopters might be able to like push it away and keep them relatively safe. From the spotlights emerging several silhouettes in full protective gear, just like what happened back in Santa Borussia.
Tennouji君, よかったわ。本当に無事で。
Didn't I already tell you? The poison doesn't work on me.
さすが小太郎。ちょっと、しずるち
ゃん、防護服脱いじゃダメって言ったでしょ。あなたは病み上がりなのに。もう。
Figures. You're already okay with Lucia's poison?
だいぶ耐性がついた。また透析生活に逆戻りだろうが。今夜くらいなら平気だ。それに、この宇宙服、暑い。
Either Chihaya just, like, you know, bolted when the helicopters arrived, or she's hearing some pretty insane stuff right now.
暑いからって脱ぐ人がいる。ああ、もう、せっかく退院できそうだったのに。
Wearing her spacesuit-looking outfit, Miss Nishikyojo shakes her head exaggeratedly in frustration. Even though everything here's completely fallen apart to the point of no return, seeing the little exchange helps me remember to smile.
心配した。無事で嬉しい。
Yeah, me too. Thanks for coming to the rescue. You saved our butts. Though we've managed to relax, Chihaya looks a little awkward. Yeah, I bet! Well, it's no surprise. She's probably wondering why Miss Nishikyojo and Shizuru just stepped out of a helicopter. Shizuru turns to face someone else, Chihaya. In the blink of an eye, Shizuru pulls out a high-caliber pistol from her pocket and points the muzzle right at Chihaya.
どうしてお前がここにいる？大鳥千早。両手を頭に乗せて、膝で立て。
Hey, what the hell, Shizuru? She's with us! You know Chihaya, don't you remember her? Looking around, I can see the other agents we've gotten off the helicopter also pointing their guns at her. I'm panicking, but Shizuru just gives me a sideward glance as she ruthlessly counts down from 10.
飛んだ疫病神を拾っちゃったものです。介抱しなきゃよかった。
Aww. Yeah, that's right. Chihaya looked after me. I don't know what kind of misunderstanding we got going on here, but could we all just put the scary guns away?
3、2、1。
At the end of the countdown, Chihaya raises her hands, visibly exacerbated.
はいはい、降参ですよ。ジュネーブでよろしくお願いします。スイスの首都。それはベルン。
彼女が天王寺君を介抱してくれたの？
Yeah, she did. She practically saved my life.
どうして彼を？
この正気の大災害の中心がこの公園だった。それを調べに来て、ひまわり畑の残骸の中で彼を見つけたの。この正気の中で生きてるなんて信じられなかった。無視するわけにもいかず、つい助けたのが運の月。
Her threatening tone of voice makes me sound like someone ingrate. Seriously, don't get what's going on.
小太郎は不思議に思わないのか。どうして千早がこの猛毒の正気の中で防護服もなく平気なのか。
Oh my gosh. So did they make a major mistake inadvertently? Because if you're a member of Gaia, especially if you're a summoner and you have the ability to channel like the Gaia life essence, could that protect you? So by unleashing Lucia, did they just literally kill anyone who wasn't members of Gaia's inner circle? Because that'd be so stupid. Like, it's kind of like cool mechanically, but so stupid for Guardian.
私や小太郎でなければ、防護服を脱いだ途端に海をまき散らして死ぬ。すごい暴言じゃないですか。死んでる方が正常だと？生きてちゃいけないと？
Oh, this sucks.
あなたたちの仕業だってのは分かってるんだから。どれだけ死んだと思ってんの？死ねたならまだいい。死に損ねて今ものたうち回ってる人たちだって大勢。
Quit it! We shouldn't be fighting at a time like this, and Shizuru, quit provoking her. This is a no-fight zone. I don't find it weird that Chihaya is fine without any protective gear. Heck, I'm not wearing any. Shizuru took off hers because she felt hot, right? Let's just say the same goes for Chihaya, alright?
そうね。そうに違いないわ。ごめんなさいね、大鳥さん。物騒な真似をしたことを謝るから、あなたも許してちょうだい。
許せ。はいはい。許しますから許してください。
We're in a critical emergency right now, and I'm sure Shizuru and the others are just as confused and on edge as everyone else. Miss Nishikyojo gestures to the others to lower their guns. The agents in protective suits all put their handguns down, and the tension in the air finally dissipates. I swear, why is everyone here on such short fuse? I don't know, maybe it's the corpses? Miss Nishikyojo, just what the hell happened? What's going on? Where's Lucia? What is she doing?
大鳥さんって、ルチアちゃんと仲は良かった？
良かったかと言われると微妙ですが。
But you two ate a parfait together.
激辛パフェをもりもり食べてた。うわー、また思い出しちゃった。輝ける。
There's Chihaya.
仲が良かったかどうかはともかく、地獄の戦友であることは間違いないです。
そういえばそんな話もあったわね。
あの日の地位は見てて面白かった。なら今度はあなたが食べなさいよ。水。
Finally, the mood calms down. The jumbo parfait they ate that day was truly wasn't for nothing. Don't worry, Shiaya's got just as much right to hear the story.
わかったわ。天王寺くんがそれを認めるなら話す。
That's pretty bold of you, but okay. I'm glad we're going to work with it.
全員傾注。黒板はないから聞き逃さないように。
ノート取れない。
Shush.
先生、それはテストに出ますか？
You both are, it's ridiculous. You know, there are some teachers who say something will show up in the test and put something completely different.
あら、なんで知ってるのよ。
本日午後2時頃、風祭市内にて極めて致死性の高いガスが発生しました。
Fetch me. Okay, we're gonna end things here. It's not the best place, but I also feel like it's a decent place of just... Oh gosh, why? Why would they do this? Like, literally, was the plan to have her, like, essentially, like, try and super poison nuke Kazamatsuri to disrupt Gaia's plans and then put her in cryo? Is that what, like, the plan is? Or, like, maybe she would, like, make sure, like, no one could be in the bunker and put herself in the cryo tube. Maybe that was the ultimate plan? And, like, obviously, the Guardian cult people were working with a different diocese of some kind. And it's, like, insanity. Utter insanity. Holy crap. Like, up until now, things have been pretty insane. We have, no, it's Mito. That was the fire guy. Mito. Why did I forget that name before? Mito, like, lit the school on fire. That felt pretty nutso. And then we have, like, the Chihaya where, like, Akane, like, turned Sakuya's corpse into a super familiar that was like the size of a volcano. That was pretty crazy, but the thing is, like, we contained that in the forest, so even if, like, people saw it and freaked out, like, we saved people from dying from that. This is just, like, essentially a genocide. Holy crap. They just used her as a bioweapon, and that's insane that they actually did it. I kind of was hoping that we would, like, be able to stop her, persuade her to not do something as crazy as that. But we didn't. She just did. And now she's gonna have to live with that. Like, even if we get her back around, and even we, like, help her see that there's a hope and a future in life, like, what are we gonna do about this? Like, there's a level, like, you can claim, like, a level of insanity or an inability to make proper decisions because of brainwashing, but, like, there's still, like, even if we could avoid somehow the actual legal ramifications of such an atrocious thing that's just happened, she's gonna have to live with it because she likely walked out into the city and saw what she had done. She was scarred from the childhood where she accidentally killed a few dozen people. What's she gonna do now? How's she gonna be able to live? Holy crap, that's just insane. It makes my heart hurt, really. Like, I genuinely am not sure what is Lucia supposed to even do now? What is she supposed to do? I just don't know. It's insane. So yeah. I guess we'll have to get a better picture next time. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to the patrons and members who support me directly. I don't deserve your incredible support. Whether or not it's active now or was sometime in the past, I don't care. Thank you so much. And for anyone who's still watching this, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I actually am kind of sad. Like, I'm genuinely sad that this is how things are playing out. So I'm really worried about how it's going to end. So hopefully you'll come back next week and see what happens next. Thanks for sharing the journey with me. And until next video watching me or seeing me next, I'll see you there.